YEAHHH is back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do this consistently. So we did an over-under episode. You know, we gave all the over-unders. Now we're about, 9 games into the season, and we are back, man. It's your boy Titus, a.k.a. Black Chris Vernon. And I got the homies with me. Got the homie Q in the building. Q, what up, bro?
What's poppin', bro?
Not much. Got the homie France. You know, you heard him on the last episode. LTBR in the building. You heard him on the last episode with the over-unders. Y'all heard all these guys before. France, what's happening?
Yeah, man, we're ready, man. We're so far almost 10 games into the season. It's been an exciting season so far. Filled with a lot of drama, good games, storylines, some more defense than last year, some new officiating rules. It's all good. It's all good.
Thank God for these new rules. These new rules are fun. I'm enjoying the new rules. The game be over in 2 hours. That's the change. It's like, ooh, look at this. The game ended. I think an underrated change for me with the rules is the review rule. Like, not having reviews every 17 seconds has been great.
I'll be honest, like I had more problem with the reviews than like the foul baiting or whatever. The reviews bothered me more than like Trae Young or James Harden leaning into a shot.
Bro, when we're in the playoffs and you're reviewing whether the dude that knocked the ball out of bounds hit it last or if it grazed the man's pinky that he knocked the ball off of, we've gone too far. We've gone too far. Because at no point when you hit the ball were you like, oh, I'm going to knock it off his pinky, off the tip of his pinky, and then we're going to get the ball back. That was never your plan. That was not part of the plan at all. It just happened. Can't give you the ball off that. So yeah, I'm so happy that's gone, because those are really dry. That combined with the fouls was making the games last for 7 years for sure. So I'm glad we got some regulations on that for certain. Let's jump into it, man. The season's about 10 games in, like I said. What are some of y'all's? I'm passing you first, Q. What are some of your surprises, disappointments, anything? What you thinking? What's some of the biggest things you've seen so far?
I mean, I think the biggest one that you have to take away from is that they've been in the news the entire season for not always the best reasons, but the Brooklyn Nets. And you look at the Nets, and on paper, if you said, hey, a team with Kevin Durant and James Harden is still a finals contender. And even without Kyrie Irving, if Kyrie Irving doesn't come back this season, you look at a team with Kevin Durant and James Harden, to people on the NBA 75.
Freedom fighter. Refer to him as freedom fighter Kyrie Irving, please. Freedom fighter.
Rebel soldier Kyrie Irving. But you look at Kevin Durant and James Harden as two of the best players of all time, and you're like, okay, this team can make the finals. But James Harden is a real issue. Kevin Durant looks amazing as usual. The fact that he still looks this good after a torn Achilles, this is his what? 14th year in the league. Kevin Durant's a fucking alien and will be an MVP candidate perennially if he stays healthy. But James Harden is a real issue. And yeah, the foul stuff and the lack of calls that James Harden is getting is one thing, but James Harden isn't driving anymore. Even going and finishing at the rim, he's not taking as many shots. His passing looks great. James Harden is one of the best passers ever. So like his passing looks great, but he's turning down shots, and it's a complete lack of determination to go and get to the basket and shoot. And he's recovering from injury too, which is a big thing. That hamstring injury that kept him out for a good part of the season last year and during the postseason. And that hamstring is a real issue for him, especially for the way that he plays. But if we're not going to get a James Harden that even resembles the guy that Brooklyn got for like his first like 20 games in Brooklyn, where he looked like the best player in the league, then Brooklyn is in real trouble. And Kevin Durant playing at this all NBA all-time level can only do so much, because it's not like they have consistent scoring that's going to come from anywhere else, unless you're expecting it to come from Joe Harris and Patty Mills. At that point, you're asking Joe Harris and Patty Mills to be primary and secondary playmakers and scorers for you. And that's not what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. What you think about that, France?
I think Patty Mills is definitely the best pickup so far this offseason, because
for sure.
I've seen so many games where he just keeps them alive. He's shooting the hell out of the three ball. And I'm just like, yo, like, yeah, I have the best backup available right now to like keep you guys afloat. The Harden thing, I agree. He definitely looks doesn't look like himself. He is aging, coming off that injury as well. But he's also like have to adjust to these new rules. Like everybody had been talking about these rules as the Harden rules, the Trae Young rules. And we've seen the early preseason when Steph didn't get that call. We're like, is it going to be consistent? And we've seen Harden not get a bunch of calls. And I feel like there is a narrative existing around Harden and the way he manipulated foul calls, because a crazy staggering stat was that like he shot like 11 free throws in his first 3 games when he's been averaging 11 free throws a game his career. And it's like, what is this foul really almost stripped his power? It's like these fouls will strip your powers away. And but I do really genuinely feel like he does get fouled sometimes and they're eating the whistle too, though. I'm not gonna lie.
No, he does get
no,
fouled.
He absolutely does. Yeah.
Like even if you go back and watch Houston games, and it's annoying when he kicks the leg out and all that stuff. That shit was always annoying. But people will talk about James Harden and they'll forget James Harden drives to the basket the majority of possessions. If he's not taking a step back 3, he's driving to the basket, and either it's him going up for a runner, floater, finishing at the rim, or he's kicking it out. He does get fouled, but at the same time, when he's not getting those foul calls, he does. In consequence, that does make someone stop driving to the basket, and
right,
like that's one of James Harden's biggest strengths. I think James Harden is one of the quickest first steps I've ever seen. Like he has real twitchy movements. His first step when he's in a triple threat position or whatever, his first step is ridiculous. And combine that with the lack of burst that might be coming with recovering from the hamstring injury, and then being discouraged by maybe the lack of foul calls. This dude isn't driving to the rim and isn't even putting himself in position to get those fouls anymore.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is he's got to get trust in the hamstring back, because he clearly doesn't trust it. He's even spoken to it. He clearly doesn't trust it yet. I think he's trying to get it back. When he gets that back, he'll be better. But I think like he's a smart offensive player. He'll adjust to the rules one way or another. I can't see him being that good a scorer and not being able to figure something out, right? Like I just can't see that happening. But then I think I have a solution to this, guys. I have a solution. All right. Everyone talks about how strong James Harden is. It is time for low post James Harden. It's time to operate out the post. Just going down there, bully people because he's strong in everybody his position. You know what I'm saying? It's time for James to operate out of the post on some LeBron stuff. Just go run the post.
James Harden is like he's effectively a point guard, and he has amazing footwork. Like I keep putting like all these like superlative things like best ever, this or that attached to James Harden, but like he is like footwork, his movements, he really is elite on all those levels. And it always did bother me that James Harden is a fucking 6'6", 6'7" tank and and had amazing footwork and didn't want to back anybody down. Like it was always like so weird to me.
Yeah, like that's an easy way for him to just go get a bucket and see it go through and be like, okay, let me see him get some points from this direction. And if you're backing people down, you're gonna have to get fouls naturally there, right? Just from that type of style of play, that physical play is going to get you some more fouls anyway. So it's time for him to just adjust, especially until he gets full trust back and belief in himself again. You know, I think it's the best option. I definitely think it's the best option for him. You got any more friends? You got any disappointment, surprises this year so far for you?
I think there's 2 different answers. So you want my disappointment first or my surprise first?
Let's be positive first, then come back and swing back to negativity. All
right, the surprise for me honestly has to be the Raptors, man. I thought they were going to be in complete tank mode, you know what I'm saying? And now they're that scrappy team in the East that like everybody sees on their schedule and does that like just a sigh of like stress.
Right.
Like, damn, I have to really try hard to beat Chris Boucher and Fred VanVleet. Like, what is happening? Why are these guys so good? They're really feisty. And I got to give credit to the organization for being competitive like this. It's weird when you're in the middle of the pack, when you're not bottom barrel, but you're not a contender, you know? Right. So it's like, do you decide to try to find a way to build upward, which now it might be possible for them to say, hey, look, we're not as bad as people think we are, with a couple pieces, things shifting around and the conference is a little bit more open. Like, yeah, we can become something good in a couple years. Or is it just the beginning of the season and then, 40 games from now, they look completely what we thought they would? I don't know, but they've been surprising me so far.
Yeah, man. The Scotty Barnes thing seems to actually have some legs. He might be decent. Like if he's actually, because the thing with him was he couldn't shoot. I think Sam Buscini at the Ringer at the Athletic described him as a no tool player at one point, because it's like he does these things nicely, but it's like not an elite at a level that you really want. It's really everything with him is really raw, but he seems to have figured something out, man. Like you said, Toronto's organization, man, I don't think they've had a young player really fail there yet. You know what I'm saying? We got the Beyblade, of course, but even he had a run for a minute, you know? And he's still a solid player. He's just not what they thought he could be. OG Anunoby's taking a step forward, which is perfect for them, because I like OG a lot anyway. So he's taking a step forward is dope. They definitely got something going. They don't have a 7. They're doing all this with no 7-footers. Like, they don't play anybody over 7 feet. Everybody's like 6'9". Like, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and make it rock. Team wingspan over there. A surprise for me personally, and I have 3 listed, but I'm gonna go with this one because I'm sure it'll surprise you guys. Evan Mobley's good at defense, and he's a rookie, and that's not supposed to be a thing. And he's like terrifyingly good at defense. Evan Mobley
is legitimately he's the best like defensive rookie since like AD.
Like, what is it, bro? I'm watching like, yo, what is happening?
And he might be better than AD was at defense when AD first came in.
He might be. It's crazy. Evan Mobley is nice. Like, it is a problem on the defensive end of the court, man. I hate so much he's going to waste 7 years of his career in Cleveland. I really hate that for him. But you know what? I love a rookie dedicated to playing some defense, man. I love a defensively minded rookie, because everybody trying to get buckets. My man's like, I got defense. Don't worry about it. I got this defense for you. And I like that.
He's leading the lead in contested shots, man. Like this, he's part of the reason why you look at the Cavs and they're like, wait, I don't know if they're a bad team anymore. Like,
I mean, they are, but you know, but it's like, they're faking it well right now.
But it's like, when you have someone like Mobley, he's a floor raiser, and he's such a floor raiser only as a rookie, which is the scary thing. So you look at the Cavs and this is like a weird fucking team. You see Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, Lauri Markkanen before he went into protocol, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Kevin Love, and like, this is a weird ass team. But you look at it, and Evan Mobley is such a floor raiser and can like give you good perimeter defense and contest shots, and don't even try coming inside, because if you get past Evan Mobley, then there's Jared Allen right there. And he might not be the best defender, but then Lauri Markkanen, if you get past those two, Lauri Markkanen is there. It's a funky, interesting lineup and team that they have.
Right.
But ultimately, Evan Mobley is a complete floor raiser just off the defensive end. And this guy is only going to get better and become a more productive guy on offense. He's still averaging like 14 points a game, still giving you something. Low post threat, lob threat, and it's giving you that stuff, and eventually you'll see the shooting come. But Evan Mobley is such a floor raiser for that team that as a rookie, you can see this, and you're like, if the Cavs finish a little bit below 500, I'm not going to be shocked, because Evan Mobley is that kind of player.
Yeah, and I feel like the Cavs are a team that really benefits from regular season time, where it's like teams aren't really locked in, and it's like you come in off a night and you got to play this weird lineup. Like, bro, why is Lauri Markkanen at 3? What is happening? Or what am I supposed to do with this? I feel like they benefit from that, where teams don't really have game plan time. So they're really a regular season issue, especially early on. It's like, what are we looking at right now? Why is this happening? What is this roster? You know? I saw some highlights of them against Dame last night. It was like, oh yeah, undersized guards are not enjoying their lives right now, for sure, playing Cleveland.
No.
It's not a good time,
bro. He moves his feet so well. Like, if you just look at any possession where he switched onto a guard, just look at his feet. His feet move ridiculously well for someone that tall. Someone that tall should not move their feet that well.
Right. He's another one of these mutants. Is Evan Mobley already on track to be a better defender than Rudy Gobert ever was?
Probably more.
I might have him above. He can guard, so I have him above Rudy right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Rudy is like, a top 5 rim protector ever, but like, there is credence to what you're saying, because it's like, if Evan Mobley can like even be slightly below Rudy's rim protecting level, but at the same time he can contest shots out on the perimeter and stay and like help stay like in the race with guards, then we're looking at someone that in the next 2, 3, 4 years is going to be the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, Yeah. It's like shades when AD was like guarding Jimmy in the playoffs in the finals. Like, okay, AD, you just gonna have the Jimmy Butler assignment, and he was fine. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I got it. Don't worry about it. He was going crazy. It's not like that. Like having a big that can do that is just it sets everything. It makes everything easier for everybody involved. Disappointment. If you gave your disappointment, do you have a pleasant surprise?
Pleasant surprise. Let's go Jordan Poole. I think that
yes, we got Jordan Poole coming up later.
So the Warriors, a lot of people were coming in like really high on the Warriors, and I thought that was interesting, just because Klay still isn't back, but a lot of people were putting stock into Jordan Poole getting better, and Jordan Poole's play in the preseason had people encouraged. He didn't play off. Right. He didn't play bad last season. He showed signs of improvement then. But I think a lot of it is like people just around the Warriors, around the practices, around the camp, and they just see Jordan Poole's mentality and see that this is a guy that's hungry and like wants to get better and has the right mindset for this. And Jordan Poole is becoming everything that the Warriors have never had, which is someone who can do the same things that Steph Curry does with the second unit. They've never had that. Ever.
That's a fact.
And this guy being able to be a consistent 17, 18 point per game scorer, 19 point per game scorer, and hold down the fort while they're waiting for Klay to get back, that's big. That's a guy that can lead a second unit. And for how good the Warriors have been in their peak years, they've never had a super strong second unit. It's always been an overpowering starting five. And then when that starting five plays with the second unit, they're able to keep the second unit afloat. And then when everyone comes back in, you don't really have a chance. Now with this, Jordan Poole is coming off screens and doing the curl screens and the pin downs, and he's doing all the same Steph Curry actions. He's doing all the same off-ball stuff that we've seen Steph do. And who knows what Jordan Poole's ceiling is? I don't know if Jordan Poole is ever going to be like an all-star level guy or anything. Like he's still like 22, 21 years old. Like the guy still has a way to go, but for him to have taken all these actions and taken all these plays and everything and have seamlessly integrated those into his game, I think that shows that the Warriors can develop their young guys. Like they do just have to be like good pieces that fit, and that they're willing to work with these guys, because this is Jordan Poole's third season now. I think that it gets forgotten because we've had so much basketball crammed into the last year that you forget that this is Jordan Poole's third season. And he's developed really, really well. And over the course of the season, we'll see if he still gets those same shot attempts and maybe those numbers drop off. But I think this Jordan Poole thing is real. And if it stays like this, the Warriors, like, I don't want to jump out the window and say they're the best team in the West, but they're the scariest team in the West.
Their whole problem, because that Klay Thompson, like, I for one don't. My expectations for Klay are kind of in the middle. Like, I'm sure his shooting will be fine, but I don't know how much running around he can do, how fast he'll be, because that was a big part of his offensive game too. Like, it wasn't just stand in the corner and bust. It was I'm moving around the court, I'm running off screens. I don't know how much that he can do, especially early on, coming off the Achilles and the ACL. Like, I know KD broke the mold, but we can't compare people to KD. It's not.
Yeah, KD is like God. Like
it's just not fair. It's just not fair. We can't base anything off what KD did. But I do think he'll be okay. But there could be a time where you have to guard Curry, Thompson, and Poole, and I wish you the best. I wish you all the best, all three of them on the court at the same time.
I think the Warriors, they're seeing things that we don't see, and they set up Klay's return to be so successful, because right now they're second in defensive rating. So that already lets you know it's like, all right, Klay might not have a step forward in defense, but we're going to be able to supply him with enough people around him that can defend in the absence of if he becomes a liability from his recovery. And obviously everybody has had the Achilles tear, loses a step on defense, even Kevin Durant. No one's susceptible to it.
For sure.
But if it's shooting, which I fully trust the shooter's touch will not go away.
It's going to be fine.
If the shooting is just fine and you got Poole that's kind of streaky hot, Curry's out there, there's just a magnet on breaking down defenses just from him walking and moving around away from the ball, with the ball, and then Klay being in the right spots is always like the Warriors still have their moments of like Warrior basketball, and that's why like early
they have more like playmakers and passers too. Like we all know how good Draymond is as a passer. Now you bring Iggy back into the fold. Otto Porter can be a good playmaker and passer for you. And then Nemanja Bjelica, and we've seen how good he can be. And like we've seen him bringing the ball up the court and his passing. And like I've watched a lot of Kings basketball over the years. I've always liked Bjelica. And Miami wasn't the best fit for him for whatever reason. I think that he's a good, serviceable guy on any roster. But the Warriors, like beautiful game, Spurs 2013 brand of basketball, Bjelica fits right into that. And when you have these shooters, when you have Poole, Clay, Curry, even Juan Toscano Anderson on a good day, Damian Poole on a good day, and then you have these passers like Draymond, Otto Porter, and Bjelica, the Warriors is looking scary, man.
Y'all gonna stop not naming Andrew Wiggins? Y'all talk about this Golden State Warriors.
I was actually just about to mention it. No. I was about to mention Andrew Wiggins. It's funny because he'll have moments where he's a spark plug and he doesn't stop shooting even when he has like he's like 1 for 7,
Lord
1 for 8.
He does not.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that confidence in him. But the one thing I really want I want to understand the system a little more. There's so many times where I see a pin down screen, and we've seen it over the years, countless amount of time in the last 5 years. A pin down screen where Curry somehow cuts back to the corner for a corner three.
Yeah,
it's like clockwork at this point. Like I think we can make that read at this point from watching it. I'm joking, but I'll see Wiggins miss that read or miss that play, and I'm like, look at Curry in the corner just waiting for it. Like these are the moments where like you need to make sure you're invested fully into the system because they got the Warriors ball thing going. I remember years back when KD got injured in the Portland series and Klay Thompson, Dre, and Steph were like really happy to show what the three of them could look like again. And, you know, Iggy's important because he moves the ball. He understands where to move the ball to. Like I'm pretty surprised and pleasantly happy with how the Warriors have been playing. I think they should be getting more credit as a contender over my Los Angeles Lakers, which I'm not happy with how they've looked so far. I can't wait till we get to that.
Yeah, the Lakers. That's one of those. A disappointment for me so far is honestly got to be the Damian Lillard experience in Portland. Hey, my man's. It was a hot summer on you. His album was pretty good. I will say I did enjoy his album. I don't know if y'all checked it out. I did enjoy it. But you keep telling me how you loyal. Your team keep being sorry. I'm tired of wanting better for Dame than Dame wants for himself. I really am. I'm sick of it. He's not looked good this year either. And I feel like if you have a summer like this, you at least need to look good when you play. And he has not been consistent or good that much this season. And I don't like what I'm seeing there. So I just want the Dame experience to step up. You know, I want that to be a lot better than it is so far. I'm a little bit down on that right now. But also, this could be a case of, with the Trailblazers, a case of it's finally just done there. Like this roster that they put together that continues to fail, Daniel O'Shea has not really improved. It's over. You know, could this finally be that? Maybe.
I mean, it should have been that a while ago. I will say that there are plenty of stars that like you can throw Damian Lillard into that same pile of like James Harden and like Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic that like haven't played like super great to start the season, and like those guys, their track records have been proven. So like you have to give them the benefit of the doubt that those numbers will get back to like what we expect from them at some point during the season, and those like being a small sample size. But at the same time, the Trailblazers are not good. They're not good. And Dame, as I mentioned before, like with other guys, Dame was always such a floor raiser that you always feel like you're in contention because Damian Lillard can almost like win you a game single-handedly.
Right.
And if that is running out, if that might not be what you can rely on anymore, no one else on that roster can do that for you. And they have pieces that I like. I like Anthony Simons a lot, actually. I'm a big fan of his. CJ McCollum has his moments, and he's usually pretty consistent. And sometimes he just disappears for a stretch of games. But I do like CJ. But as often talked about with the Blazers, their defense is perennially fucking atrocious. And usually they'd still be in games because their offense can blow up and just be so powerful sometimes that it can balance that out. But if that offense isn't hitting, if Damian Lillard isn't hitting, if Damian Lillard isn't going to be a 30-point per game scorer for you, and there's no one else that can really create their own shots on a consistent level and anything like that, if you can't rely on that, then yeah, that's a lottery team. That is a lottery team, and I don't want that to be the case for the Blazers, but I think they're a team that's overrated themselves perennially for the last 10 years. I think they overrate themselves and their roster and their ceiling all the time, and that's led to not making moves that really have made a bunch of sense. And granted, I'll give Dame some grace. Dame was injured during the Olympics, was recovering from an injury. He had his stuff going on too. So we'll see if Dame in the next 10 to 15 games picks it back up, hopefully. But if Dame isn't going to be the guy that he's been for the last 4 or 5 years, this is a lottery team. And after that, then I don't think that you can move forward with this anymore.
Yeah, honestly, the lottery is kind of their best bet because, look, like you said, they should have brought this up years ago. They've been in that purgatory that you don't want to be in, where you have a team that can make the playoffs, but you're never going to, like, barring disaster, you're not going to make real noise in the playoffs. And they just would not accept that fact because they made making that West Conference Finals was the worst thing possible for them. I've said this before. Them making the West Conference Finals that year made them fake believe that they were actually like, oh, we might be a move away from doing something. Maybe if KD's out here, we're a different team. And the fact is you're not, because if KD wasn't there and you played the Warriors, history has shown Stephen Curry owns Damian Lillard at all points of basketball. So it wouldn't have gone well. You would have got sent home. Maybe you wouldn't have won a game, but you would have got sent home the same way. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. Right. And I feel like they bought into their own hype a little too much in that situation instead of looking at it like, oh, we just got swept in the rest of conference finals. Maybe we're not that close, guys. Maybe we're still kind of far away because we got swept. So, it wasn't much to build off of there. And I just feel like they've never really looked at it and accepted that. And I think part of it is probably because they want to make Dame happy. And I feel like Dame is fiercely loyal to everybody there. Like, there was a story I remember coming out that they tried to fire Terry Stotts years ago, and Dame's teacher like, no, we're not doing that. Right. And probably would have been the right decision, honestly, because Stotts clearly had a ceiling. I think part of it is that, but also it's like, I don't know, my teams do this all the time. They just buy into where they're at and just think that's what it takes. And it's just not it. And it's time to have that wake up call. It's the time to have the wake up call in Portland. France, who's disappointed you so far?
Quick little breaking news. We just got an update here from Shams. LeBron is out for at least a week. So let me express.
Oh, I thought it was a Thunder game. It's the week now? Oh.
Out for at least 1 week. So let me express my disappointment with the Lakers because, all right, look, when the Westbrook thing happened, was I the most excited? I tried my best to find the optimism of it because I knew for a fact big threes pairing never works in the first 20, 30, 40 games of the season. That's fine. I was okay with that. But I'm still like, you know what? Another ball handler, Westbrook's ferocious, can hold me down throughout the regular season when LeBron's load managing, or like now missing a week, we'll be fine. But from watching all of their games and even going to their games in person, thank goodness, I'm just thinking to myself, I never feel like the Lakers look scary. I never feel like Anthony Davis is consistently great, which is being called upon. We want to give him the keys. We want him to give him the keys so bad, but he keeps parallel parking in the wrong spots and not reading the signs and getting tickets. And it's like, all right, man, like I want this car to be yours, but not if you're going to put a boot on it every time. And look, I love Westbrook's ferocity because I got a chance to watch the game and I sent you guys pictures. Like, I was damn near front row and I was so happy to hear the stuff. I can hear the fouls and I see Westbrook sucking his teeth when people will come ready to play defense on him from the Rockets, and then he'll try to play defense on him and they blow past him, and then the next play he does the exact same thing over. I'm just like, this guy is the literal definition of insanity. It drives you nuts. But to our credit, we don't have THT, we don't have Kendrick Nunn. I would very much hope that with those two guys integrated, we look very different. And every time I watch Caruso on the Bulls, I shed tears. I just wonder why did we let him go.
Q. Things are so bad. Yeah. He said we ain't got THT or Kendrick Nunn. I know THT. I like THT, but we can't be dependent on THT.
No. Believe it or not, the Lakers gambled on THT for sure. So
they definitely did.
If not none, at least THT needs to be a guy that's a solid contributor and defender. So we put all the marbles at the table and said, THT, we're banking on you to level up. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been healthy. We don't even know what he looks like yet, but I want to assume that those two young guys in the core obviously changes everything, because I love when Melo's going crazy, but I never want Melo to be my savior for a game. I want him to be an addition to the firepower. And I've seen plenty of games already where he's the leading scorer. He's the reason why we're winning. And I'm just like, I can't rely on this.
That's a problem. That can't be a thing.
I can't rely on this. And then I see some LeBron games where I'm just like, man, why did my fantasy league draft LeBron in the late 20s? Like, LeBron looks amazing, but then we get an update like this, he's out for a week. I'm like, oh yeah, he's 36, and I'm literally watching this guy load manage. Like, they're taking free throws, and he just walks on up on the other end. He's like, I'll wait for you guys over here. Anything he can do to run the least, he will do.
Right. It's one of the funniest thing to me about LeBron is that anytime they ask him about low man, he's insisting on like, no, I want to play as much as possible. I want to give the fans a show. But then he's playing. It's like, LeBron, you probably should have sat down because you're not helping anything. You're just on the end of the court. How many times you've seen LeBron like not go up the court on a fast break on offense or defense? I mean, it's hanging at like half court. He'll get to half court. They already missed a shot. It's like, okay, LeBron. Like, sometimes just sit down, bro. It's okay. Okay.
The Big Three had a fantastic performance against Houston on Tuesday night, where they all scored very efficient and they all scored over 20, and we won by 2 points.
That's a problem.
That's a major problem. And then we play them on Sunday where we blow them out, but we don't even score 100 points. So, like, I'm not happy with neither win, and neither win covered the spread. So you did nothing for me there neither.
You lost on all accounts.
To make it worse, the spread on Sunday was -11, and they won by 10. Like, I'm literally watching it. So I'm like, see, this is disrespectful. I'm watching it happen. I'm watching it unfold.
That's real disrespectful.
Yeah.
Q. You were the one who said the Lakers weren't going to do it last year. I will give you props. You did see that coming. You did see it coming. So how you feel about them so far?
I think the Lakers will figure out whatever system they need to accommodate everybody on offense. I think that they can figure that out. Yeah. Even though, look, LeBron's the greatest, right? Him deciding he wanted Russell Westbrook instead of Buddy Hield and KCP is fucking stupid. But I will give credit to LeBron's basketball IQ and even Russ's basketball IQ, and say that they figure out this offense thing. But if they can't become an elite defense again, this team is cooked. If they can't become an elite defense, right now they're 17th in defensive rating. And if you go through like the Lakers years, like go through that first Lakers year where they were just smothering people on defense.
It was sick.
Like, how much of that is like LeBron isn't the same anymore? AD, either he's hurt or doesn't have the same motivation. Like, who knows what's going on with AD? But you're also missing Alex Caruso, and you're also missing KCP, guys that gave you good effort on defense. And you're trying to fill those holes with Russell Westbrook and like these other people and Carmelo Anthony and
elite defender, elite monk. Malik Monk.
Like this. I will give them the grace to figure out the offense. I think that eventually if you do have Russ as the screener and him rolling and maybe doing a fade to the mid-range and letting him do his like little like bank shot in the mid-range area, maybe they can figure that out and figure out those kind of things. But that defense, if they can't figure out this defense and try to find a way to maybe climb back into that top 10 or anything, this team isn't going to go anywhere. And like, I look at the West, and the West is in a weird state. The Suns aren't really that good so far. Maybe they'll pick that up. Like, the Suns haven't been great. And the Mavs and Blazers are, in a weird phase. Even the Nuggets, Jokic looks amazing, but the Nuggets don't look great. Like, you would look at that, maybe the Lakers, if AD gets his head on straight and LeBron is healthy, that the Lakers could go in there and like steal a 2 seed. But until they figure this defense out, I don't trust this team at all.
Yeah. And one thing with me is I do trust Frank Vogel to kind of get it together on defensive end over time. Because one thing about Frank's going to let these dudes play right now. But once he figures out who's not contributing, he's going to bench them. Like once you're not adding to it, Frank is not afraid to put some dudes on the bench that just need to keep on the bench. He's not worried about that, right? And I think we said that me and Frank said on the show, on the over-under preview show that we did, like every team with Russ last few years on offense has started terribly slow. It's an adjustment period that takes place because Russ is basically playing himself out of whatever random knee clean out he had that summer. And then by like the midpoint of the season, he's about 30 games. It's like, okay, there's Russ. Like you figure something out, right? By like January, if something's figured out with Russ, the offense is fine. But yeah, defensively, that's why I'm worried about them defensively. I'm still worried about their wings in the playoffs. Like Brent said, like you got to rely on Carmelo Anthony. I don't know how much you can do, how long you can do that. I don't trust Malik Monk fully. Like I don't know where they go with those positions. The defense has got to. I feel like defense can improve because Vogel's a defensive coach anyway. But they just got a lot to figure out. And if LeBron's not going to be healthy, and you're not going to be able to have him all every game, that chemistry is going to matter, right? Because I love AD, but AD going to miss at least 5 games at some point in the season. Like at least 5, he's going to miss it. Right.
Every time he falls, like you just have to gasp. And I'm just like,
he falls so much.
What, can you stop falling like this, please? What can we do to make you stop falling like this? Honestly, another thing about the Lakers too is like not too much to like weigh on other like bigger sports media like on or television, but they want the Nets and the Lakers so bad.
Oh, they do.
So bad. Really and I'm watching these teams. I'm like, I don't even think they're a top 3 team in their conference. And you guys just want to keep pushing this narrative of these are the teams that will be in the finals, or they're their favorites, or they're contenders. And I'm looking at Miami. Miami's looking vicious. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at Golden State. They're looking crazy. Phoenix is still all right. Like there's a lot of the teams. I'm just like, all right, hold on, guys. Like I know we want this Kevin Durant and Westbrook versus James Harden. James Harden, Kevin Durant versus Westbrook. LeBron versus KD. East versus West. New York versus Cali. Like, but like, let's call it what it is. Miami's looking spooky.
Oh man, I just thought about so many corny Tupac and Big rollouts that would happen if Brooklyn and the Lakers met in the finals, and I just got upset.
Bleacher Report would for sure have Biggie in the Brooklyn jersey and Tupac in the Lakers jersey.
Like one of my best friends is a Brooklyn Nets fan, and we have both agreed that people want this so bad that we don't want it for ourselves anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand it. I believe it. I believe it. Well, France, we let you get your disappointment out about your team. Q.
Nah, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I have a question for you. All right, I have to lead into it with my sound effect. We're gonna start the game early. All right, you ready? Oh shit, I messed it up. I'm not good at this. Q. Do you believe in the power of players only meetings? And then
no, I don't. No, I don't. Because if you remember the 2020 bubble playoffs, this is what happened when the Celtics were getting their asses smacked around by Miami. Another one of these players only meetings happens, and it's funny that somehow only the Celtics players only meetings happen to leak, and then nothing ever really comes from it.
That's right. Nothing changes.
Look, man. There's been a lot of talk about the Celtics, right? And it's like,
yes.
Marcus Smart saying that Jalen and Jason don't pass, and like,
shout out to B-Ball Breakdown for making Marcus Smart look crazy. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw that video.
Yeah, I did.
No, Marcus Smart. That's
the coach Knicks.
He called him a body.
Marcus was full of shit when he said that. Like, so like, is Tatum taking? This is the frustrating part of being a Jason Tatum fan, right? Is that like I watch Jason Tatum all the time, and Jason Tatum is one of the best difficult shot makers in the league. He really is a disciple of that whole Kobe taking difficult shots thing. But they go in at a good enough clip. That's where you're like, okay, like you can live with it. But that's not happening right now. And instead of doing that, you would hope they focus more on Jalen, who's been off to a fantastic start to the season. And then in the fourth quarter, it feels like Jalen gets kind of iced out. So Jason can go and take his side step threes and long twos. And that's not ideal. And I want them to figure that out. But I do have an issue with this idea that like these things fall at the feet of Jason and Jalen. Jason and Jalen are 23 and 24 years old. They are both knockdown shooting 3-and-D wings who can like who have grown exponentially over the course of their NBA careers. What the fuck do you want from them? What more do you want from these two than they've already done so far? Jason Tatum single-handedly got them in the fucking playing game. What exactly? One in the playing games. Like, what exactly do you want these guys to do? Like, the roster is a mess. The roster is a complete mess. The second unit in Boston has been a mess for years now, and Jason, when he first came in, there was a bunch of stuff about Jason's playmaking or lack of playmaking and his low assist numbers and everything. And like, that was all true. I've watched Jason. Jason has gotten better at this. Jason has gotten better at looking for his teammates. But who the fuck is he supposed to be passing to? Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is an average 3-point shooter. That's what he's supposed to be passing to. Got to make sure Marcus Smart gets his shots.
Right.
Got to make sure Al Horford gets his shots.
Well, Q, was it a case of like right message, wrong messenger?
Just because I do feel like Jason's taking too many shots right now. I think that Jason's trying to force himself into a groove.
He's forcing it a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I'm learning more than ever is sometimes in life it's not what's said. It's like just who says it. And it's just like Marcus Smart. Like, you might have a point, but you're not the person to be telling them that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I also feel like it's putting, like, people always compare Jason and Jalen to Paul George and Kawhi. And I remember watching that first Clippers Kawhi game in 2019 when he joined the Clippers. And I watched him just dissect the Lakers, playing point forward, running the offense.
Again, double.
I was just like, holy shit. Like, Kawhi like got even better over the summer somehow. And Kawhi was like 29 already when he did that.
Yes.
Jason's 23. Jalen's 24. And these guys have already accomplished and done so much in their short NBA careers. Give them a fucking point guard, man. Like,
right.
Like, they've had these score first point guards. And it's not that these that doesn't help, but that those guys can be valuable. Go back and watch some of those Kyrie Boston games in Kyrie's first year. Like it's like really beautiful offense, or like even like Kyrie.
Did he put up like a 20 assist game that year or something ridiculous?
Yeah, like some of the Kyrie stuff during that first Boston season is like beautiful basketball. Kemba at his best was like, that was beautiful basketball to watch. But they've never had a pass first point guard, which is why Celtics fans wanted Lonzo so bad last season. They wanted Lonzo really bad. We wound up with Dennis Schroeder, who's a definite improvement over playing Jeff Teague. Like that is a definite improvement. But
no one gets to the basket for no reason more than Jeff Teague, by the way.
I look at the Celtics, and I look at a team that has no identity. On offense, there's a lot of ISO ball. They don't trust each other, or they ice each other out. And on defense, they used to be a top 10 offense and top 10 defensive team, which is like the mark of these elite NBA teams. Mm-hmm. They're no longer a defensive team either. They have no defensive identity. And right now, I see the Celtics, and I don't even know if there's a playoff team. Maybe Jason gets it together and he's a floor raiser, and they win some games just through attrition because Jason's that good and Jalen continues to ascend. But with no identity on offense, no identity on defense, this team does not deserve to be in the playoffs. And I felt this way last year. I thought it was weird coming into the season that people were talking about the Celtics being better and like having them in the same conversation in the East. I always thought it was weird. I'm like, no, like the Celtics, they don't know who they are. And if you can even figure out that defensive part that they used to have down pat in the Brad Stevens era until things started to fall apart. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's Jason and Jalen don't get along. I don't know if it's a Marcus Smart thing, whatever it is. Right. But this team has no identity, and yeah, they need that. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, it's funny because if you look at their assist numbers, they're actually like a middle of the pack team in assists when it comes to totals and per game. But then you look at it, if you watch the game, you don't see it. And then if you look at it, their leading assist man is Dennis Schroeder at 6, and he don't even like getting assists. Boston something he wants to do.
Boston's problem, like you guys watch. Like, how many times have you watched Boston games, and in the fourth quarter, it's nothing but ISO ball?
That's it. It's ISO.
It's always that in the fourth quarter. Like,
for sure.
Like watching like the 2020 bubble playoffs and watching them squander the lead to the Raptors.
That's frustrating.
Or watching them in the closing moments of the Miami game or the Miami games and watching them here. It's the same problem that's been going on for like 2 years now. Yeah. Like in the fourth quarter, it's iso ball, no matter who is coming from, whether it's coming from Jason, Jalen, Marcus Smart for some fucking reason or whatever. like iso ball. Iso ball in the fourth quarter of the Celtics and Celtics games is a persistent problem. I don't know how you fix that. Like, I don't know. And at some point, then, like, I'm willing to put some of the blame on the players. Because then if you don't play together and you're two guys as exponentially talented as Jalen and Jason are, like, what's the point? Because, like, you guys do so much more damage working together than you do separately taking 29-foot sidestep threes. Like, but I don't. That's to me. That's just been the Celtics' main problem. Other than like never having a big man, and I feel like Robert Williams is gonna have a good season if he stays healthy. But other than like the lack of big man depth, which has always been a Celtics problem, the main thing has been this fourth quarter iso ball, and like I don't see this problem changing this year. They're gonna be in a lot of close games, and they're gonna lose them because they're gonna play this kind of way.
Right, and I feel like that's the thing, right? And what something you said earlier was about the lack of depth. A lot of this is the sins of Danny Ainge, honestly. But he got out before the bottom fell out like it is this year. But Danny did make the right moves in terms of building a bench. He, like I said, he never really got the right point. The Kyrie thing could have worked, but it's Kyrie. He's fighting for our freedom right now. What can I say? You know, he's always had big fish to fry. But like I said, they never really got them a playmaking point guard to help them learn how to facilitate better, because they're still really figuring a lot of this out on the fly. And like I said, they're 23, 22, 24, I think. And that Paul George squad thing, we talked about that in the chat the other day. Like, yo, Paul George squad didn't figure out how to do this until they're like 8 years in the league. 8 or 9 years in the league. They just really became good playmakers. I understand these guys have had a lot of success. I mean, when you contextualize that success they've had early on, it was a lot of just by way of the Eastern Conference was god awful and a waste of space. Like, that's really what was going on, right? The year they made the conference finals, that wasn't a conference finals team in a traditional sense. It was, I mean, who else was going to get here in the East, right? Somebody got to play LeBron. Somebody got to play the Cavs, you know? It was really one of those type things. And that early success accelerated a lot of timelines that just aren't natural. Like, these guys still have to learn the game in a way that takes time and takes energy and takes effort and takes coaching and takes a whole system of everything for them to really develop in that way that you want to see them develop in, you know? And I feel like a lot of people just miss that part of it with this team. And I even said I want to see Brown and Tatum step up in playmaking this year. But then when I sit back, it's like, I mean, this is kind of natural. I understand they're getting their points to get scoring is fun. Young players like to score points. People under 20, you know, they like getting buckets, and they know they can go get buckets. Like
I said this earlier, who the fuck are they supposed to be passing to?
Yes,
like
that's the
who's the shooter? Like who's the shooter
Peyton
here?
Pritchard?
Who's like like Peyton Pritchard and Romeo Langford, and I like those guys. But it's like, who are they supposed to be deferring to make sure that they like? Oh yeah, I know that if I pass this ball here, that Marcus Smart's going to knock that shot down. Marcus Smart has been in the league since 2015. I have no reason to have any faith that Marcus Smart is going to get any better as a shooter, like as of this moment. I have no faith in that. So, or
he had like his best year last year, or was it the year before? Like, he had like a really good year one year, I remember, I think, right? But that's not like, indicative.
As the 3-point shooting in the league gets better, like, and you're having guys shooting like 42% from three, it's like, yeah, like 36, 37% is like good, but like that's that's becoming like that's not a great number. And when that's the majority of your shots, like
he's shooting 28% this year. He shot 33% last year on 6 attempts. Like that's not getting it done. It's just not.
That's the part that I don't really get. It's like someone like when people talk about like the Kobe without Shaq years, you know, the kind of transition years before Pau Gasol and everything. And you look at Kobe's numbers and like look at the Lakers, and it's like, what the fuck did you want him to do? What exactly are you asking him to be doing here? Like, I'm sorry that he's not finding the right passing for Shannon Brown. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I do think there's something to be said for just trying to get your teammates involved, even if they're terrible, right? Because just to make everybody feel good about themselves. I think it does help, but also I don't know how you balance making them feel good when they're just not good.
You know when you want to pass? Look at the Grizzlies, right? Look at the Grizzlies.
Yes.
Look at like the leap Ja Morant is taking. You know why Ja Morant feels comfortable passing the ball, even though he can go out there and average 30 probably if he wanted to right now? Because Desmond Bane is a shooter.
Yes.
Anthony Melton can shoot. Jaren Jackson Jr. for like him missing all this time and all this kind of stuff. Jaren Jackson Jr. can still knock down a three and can be a 7-foot nigga that can drive to the rim and do runners and floaters. Like you have some people that you can that you trust. Even Dylan Brooks when he comes back, and Kyle Anderson can play make a little bit. Like there's a level of trust there. I don't blame Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for not trusting these niggas. I don't blame them.
Yeah, it's just natural. France, what you get in on this, man? How you feeling, bro?
I do think there's a little bit of overreaction for it though, because some of the games, like the Knicks game and the Wizards game, overtime losses, and that Knicks game still the best game of this entire fucking year.
That's true.
It might be the best. It really might be the best game of the season. It's going to be hard to beat. So
Celtics are always in some shit like that. Whether it's like the Lakers games, the Clippers games.
The Celtics don't care about your heart. The Celtics on national TV do not care about your well-being. They really don't. If you're a Celtics fan, they're gonna make it as dramatic as possible on national TV.
Yeah, like you look back at that game, you're just like, yo, if Tatum just shot the ball just a little better, we win that game. You know, because he really struggled that night. Brown opened the season with 50 points, and then they be switching, right? Sometimes Tatum will have the hot hand, Brown will have the hot hand. There's a lot
it happened last night.
There's a lot of late game execution, especially on defense, that doesn't really get implemented. So like they kind of stay away from things that has been successful for them. So like I feel like they can fix it. And some of the games they've lost was like could have easily flipped in their direction, and we wouldn't be having this conversation like we are now. It's that Bulls loss that really broke the camel's hump.
Yeah,
have us
being up 19 in the fourth and losing that is bad. That's a problem.
Yeah, that was rough, man. But that says a lot about the Bulls team, in my opinion, because that's like the third game where they've been down and they almost came back. So, you know, that team's a little wacky and it's been fun too. So
the Bulls are real. The Bulls are real.
Yo, I had DeMar DeRozan on my surprise list. I just didn't go with him. But DeMar averaging 28, 27 this year. He's shooting threes at 30-some% at a high, like 38% right now, which is, hey, DeMar, welcome to modern basketball.
So I don't know like how much Spurs basketball y'all watch like the last couple of years, but like DeMar DeRozan has been borderline all NBA like all of his Spurs seasons. Like the dude is really good and has been really good quietly for the last couple of years. Like
his playmaking
improved. Playmaking has improved like a ton under the Spurs. Yeah. Which makes it weird. Like the one thing about the Bulls, if you want to like talk about them for a little bit, the one thing about the Bulls that I might want to see change is I feel like they're giving like too much like on ball responsibility to Lonzo and Caruso. I feel like DeMar DeRozan, if you like saw his Spurs numbers and saw his assist numbers and how he evolved as a player in San Antonio, I would let DeMar run the offense more so than I would like be giving Lonzo these like on-ball responsibilities. I think Lonzo's a better off-ball player than an on-ball player, and I would like to see DeMar being the play initiator more. And I think that might come later on during the season. But for a team that's so new, so fresh, Vucevic came in the middle of the season. Lonzo, DeMar, all new additions, and who Vooch?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then even losing Patrick Williams, like, like this is a team that's still so new and fresh together right now that this hot start is encouraging. But I really, really think that by the middle of the season, end of the season, once these players get more comfortable with each other, because I don't think any of these guys are particularly selfish players either,
right?
Especially
they're still figuring a lot out.
But the Bulls. I'm not saying that I think that they're like a contending team yet. I'm not sure if I'm sold on that level, but for a team that still pretty much just met each other a couple months ago and to be playing on this level and have the resilience on defense, which everyone thought was going to be the Bulls' problem. Everyone thought it would be a defensive problem. And I never thought that ever. Like I thought that between Lonzo and Caruso that like having like a defense is effort, right? And if you believe that you can win, if you believe that you have a chance, if you believe in your team, you play harder. And I think Zach LaVine showed that in the Olympics, and I think that that's going to be a real thing. I think the defense is real for the Bulls, and then I think the offense will get better. So we'll see come January and February how the Bulls look, but that team is real.
I want to point this out about the Bulls. They are number one in defensive rating. So, you said the Q, people were concerned about the Bulls defense, and the receipts have already been posted on NBA Twitter of all the analysts and people on television saying their defense would be terrible. Their defense would have no chance. They wouldn't be a contender. They'll be racing to be a play-in team. And I just think to myself, was like, all right, how do they get a blue check and a job on national television and get it this wrong?
I mean, is it not Zach LaVine's fault though? Because LaVine's never showed an interest in playing defense his entire life.
The Bulls fucking
until the
sucks.
Olympics.
And
then when KD, no, you gotta think though. At the Olympics, right? KD like Billy, he gonna play defense this year, and LaVine goes, "Nah, don't tell him that. He don't want to play defense. He just finally decided to. He's like, I guess I should do this." I'm just being fair. I'm just being fair to the people, to the medias.
to me, defense has always been effort to me. Like, you have to want to do it. Like, there's so many players in the NBA that could be better defensive players, but just decide not to be because they don't care about it. Like that, I think that's just a fact of basketball sometimes.
Yeah.
Like how many times we're going to talk about like Russell Westbrook and with all his athletic gifts, how good of a defender Russell Westbrook can be.
Yo,
he just he doesn't want to be.
Russell Westbrook's offensive athleticism made people think he was good at defense. Because there's no way someone that athletic is bad at defense, and he's bad. He's bad.
He'll jump a passing lane or two, but he's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad at defense. But like you look at Russell Westbrook and look at the explosion and quickness and the speed, and you're like, oh yeah, there's no way that this dude should be a bad defender. But
right,
he is. So like,
he is.
I think it's an effort thing. And I think that now in a situation where like, and who knows with the Bulls, because like Zach LaVine still hasn't gotten his deal. And for all we know, this might be just a one season experiment, and Zach LaVine's out the door after the season. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But for the time being, I think the Bulls in a weird East where Ben Simmons isn't back, and who knows when Ben Simmons comes back, and a Brooklyn team with James Harden not playing at his usual standards. Is it Chicago and Miami at the top?
The Bulls are in my if tier that I created on the Over Under show. The Bulls are in my if tier, where if someone's star is not there, they can make a run. If someone's star in there, they can never make a playoff run. But the question I have for the Bulls is, I know we saw a lot of nice things about DeMar DeRozan, but playoff DeRozan is a real thing. Are we confident that's not going to show up this year?
I can push back on that. That was as a first option now. And he is no longer the first option. I feel like there's guys that can like be the hot hand, whatever, in a given playoff series. Mm-hmm. And we haven't seen Zach LaVine in the playoffs. Like, so that's I can't sit there and say that like these things are gonna it's gonna work out this way. But I do believe in the power of not having to be the first option in these things being solely decided on you anymore. And I think that with the Bulls and like with three guys who can go out there and get you a bucket anyway, like any way that they can, whether it's Vooch in the post and being able to stretch out the three, and Zach LaVine off the dribble and his knockdown shooting, or DeMar DeRozan in the mid range, and I think that they have three different guys that can be good playoff scorers. And with the pressure taken off of DeMar to go out there with LeBron and go head up with him. Like, I think I expect to see a better DeMar come playoff time.
Will he make the free throws that he missed in the play-in game?
I hope so. I hope so. Like DeMar.
Yo, believe it or not, though, I feel like playoff LaVine will be a thing. Like there's a lot of people that didn't get a taste of the playoffs, and last year we saw a bunch of debuts. People went really far.
Devin Booker energy.
Trae Young, Devin Booker. Like I can see him having that kind of energy.
Yeah, and Lord knows that man has suffered longer than all those guys have. He has suffered. The man suffered in Minnesota, suffered in Chicago. He's been through a lot. So I wish I would like for him to have a nice playoff run. I like that.
Yeah.
Another team I want to hit, man. What are the Pelicans doing, y'all? Anybody know? Anybody understand what's going on? David Griffin's out here lying about timelines. Making up timelines.
I'll be lying if I said I watch these Pelican games, because I quite frankly don't. But I don't know, man. You know, Zion, I want to see when Zion comes back and him get into shape and get things rolling for himself. But he hasn't set his best foot forward to complain about the organization. But I feel you, man. The organization, you know, also isn't like setting people up for success. And it's been a very weird start to their season. Whatever plans they might have had or aspirations, it can't be going in the direction they want it.
They've just made up stuff about like, oh yeah, Zion, he'll be back in like a week. And then David's like, nah, I never said that. Like, you did. That's what I heard you say. You said it. And now like, oh, he's gonna be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. Zion might not play till January at this rate, bruh. Like, I don't know what's going on there.
If you like tried to give me like a percentage on like how confident I am that Zion even plays this season,
bro,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure that like I'm over like 60% that I think Zion even plays this season.
This is real like when Oladipo to the injury with the Heat and they just wouldn't tell us what happened and then suddenly like, yeah, he's not playing this year.
I gotta come clean, man. I gotta come clean. Like Zion doing that Mountain Dew commercial and looking like much just heftier. It's not a good look. That shit. Who
are his agents? Because you can't let your mans who people already say don't be in shape do Mountain Dew commercials. You can't. That can't be the sponsor that we go with. It's not the way.
Or maybe it is a sponsor that you go with because that's exactly what's been happening. It's very relevant to what's happening, but it shouldn't be.
Man, just give my man the chocolate milk sponsorship, like Kevin Love and Klay Thompson. That's
the Pelicans, simple. Man, like, yeah, it's a mess, and it takes away from like how monstrous Zion is when he's healthy. Like,
right.
Zion when he's on the floor is amazing, spectacular,
he's 1-of-1,
dominant in a way that we haven't seen since Shaq in the paint. Like, it truly is remarkable. But now the off-court stuff is getting to a point where it's really bleeding into the franchise, and even Brandon Ingram and like his vast improvement the last 2 seasons, like that can't even save it. Losing Lonzo was one of the most ridiculous things at this
stupid move.
So goddamn stupid. Like the perfect guy to put with Zion Williamson and Lonzo Ball, and just deciding that you no longer wanted him. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like, if Zion's healthy, like, I think a lot of people like view it as Zion's going to get better. Pelicans will get better, so they're like a bubble play-in team. But without Zion, as we're seeing, this is the worst team in the league.
Man, even if he's there, I barely see them getting that. Honestly, I really don't. I barely see them getting there. I just don't trust them. I don't think they have nearly enough, especially without Lonzo, like you said. Like, I don't think. I mean, right now, if you look at the standings right now, I know it's early in the season. They got so much ground to make up with 1 win. Like, they're already way behind. Phoenix is in the 8th spot right now, bro. Like, that's not gonna last. Like, do I see the Pelicans going on some win streak? No, that's
what
I'm saying. Like, even if Zion comes back, I don't see them as that. So I don't know. Like, there's gonna have
the Rockets. The Rockets are better than the Pelicans. Like, I've watched the Rockets enough, and I think Jalen Green's going to get better enough as the season goes on. The Rockets are better than the Pelicans.
Literally every team above them, I would say, is better than them. I think the only team that might not be better than them might be the Spurs. That might be it. Maybe they're better than the Spurs, but the Spurs have Greg Popovich. I trust them more than I trust y'all. They might be.
I think the Spurs are better.
The Spurs are better.
They're the worst team in the West.
The Pelicans without Zion are the worst team in the league.
I'm sorry, Oklahoma City. Well, they got SGA.
Don't the Pelicans have a worse record than OKC right now?
Yeah, but that's because they've played more games.
All right.
They have more chances to lose. They won it. Yeah, they played 2 more games.
Yeah, but they got the same amount of wins.
Yeah, so they played 2 more games. What I'm saying, they've had 2 more chances to lose than OKC has had. Okay?
I've watched
you and OKC should never have the same amount of wins. That's nasty work.
I've watched OKC.
They ain't get to play Lakers yet.
I've watched OKC. I've watched OKC games.
Mm-hmm.
That, and like, this is the same thing last year. They're a team that's way more competitive than you would think on paper. Like, it's always like that. And SGA, again, people might not want to watch the Thunder There's a whole bunch of like young dudes out there running and gunning and doing wild shit. But SGA, when he gets cooking, that he's must see TV.
SGA is fire. Free SGA.
Free SGA, man.
Sick of it. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's I don't know what to do with the Pelicans. Also, let's talk about how David Griffin used a top 15 lottery pick on Jackson Hayes just to keep not playing Jackson Hayes. But you know, one of those mini draft picks everybody got excited about. Everybody loves the draft picks. Everybody loves the draft. Then they get these picky dudes and be trash. Get in the league and be Johnny Manziel. Shout out to Surf.
I don't know what Jackson Hayes did to them to why they not
hate
really
him so much.
But like, even if you wanted to like look at the off course stuff that happened, Jackson Hayes was wronged in that situation. Like, when the footage and the details actually came out, like,
oh yeah,
the police lied about the situation. So I'm like, is it that? Is it other stuff? Like, I don't know. But
I remember when he didn't get selected for All Rookie and he told all the boys SMD. I was like, oh, you're that. Okay, okay, Jackson. All right, Jackson. That's how you get down.
My man got new generation JaVale energy.
That's it. That's really it, though. Man. So we talked about Zion, man. We hit Memphis a little bit. One more thing I wanted to talk about is France. Hey, France.
Ready.
France, you were excited for Kristaps Porzingis post-ups and Jason Kidd offense before the season began. You were telling me how it was going to work in KP and everything was going to be beautiful. And the Mavs are sorry. What do you have to say about that?
I'm gonna shoot him some bail. I'm gonna shoot him some bail real quick.
Go ahead.
KP hasn't played in five games so far, right?
But we knew that was coming, right?
Listen. So I'm gonna abstain from any judgment on the Jason Kidd, Kristaps Porzingis post-up Mavericks for a few more weeks. But France, you got some explaining to do.
All right, so the jury's not out yet on the KP and Kidd system, but I will say this: the defense. Dallas is a top 10 defense, so I'm really happy to see that defensively they're coming along and they're able to kind of like change things. And I feel like the way the new rules with the fouls it's kind of hurt Luka in a little bit because he's also pretty good at manipulating and getting those calls, but it's also helped the entire league just balance defense as a whole. So I'm happy that what they sacrificed in offense, they've supplemented in defense. That's good so far. But the offense is concerning to me because they're a bottom 5 offense. All right. They're 27th in the league. That's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Luka still hasn't kicked it in the drive yet. He starts every season kind of slow. Whether he's in shape or not, I don't know what it is about him. It takes him some time for him to ramp up. And he keeps being in these MVP conversations. If he really wants that award, it's going to have to change in the near future. Jalen Brunson, obviously, there's a ceiling on the team if Jason Brunson is your top 3 player. But so far with him being a starter, when KP being out, it's proving that, all right, Dallas, you don't need more centers at this point. You need another ball handler that can give Luka some relief and that can score. And for as small as Jalen Brunson is, I got to be honest, man, I feel confident every time he's about to drive the basketball. He got heart. He has a lot of heart. He's got the hot hand. And for the last 2 games, he's been able to at least hit like big time shots in the fourth quarter, more than Luka, honestly. It's getting to the point where Luka actually is like, yo, Brunson, man, go ahead, take over. Yesterday's Spurs game, Brunson hit like 6 shots in a row. He hadn't missed in like half an hour. So, I mean, is Brunson the solution? No, but he's showing that, all right, Luka, we have to break these habits. If you want to transcend to that next level, you really want to be a contender, you're going to need that person to take this ball out of your hand so that you can move around the floor and do a bunch of other things as well. And the habits have to die hard somehow, some way. I am really content with the defense. I'm not happy with the offense, but I'm willing to see how it progresses over time.
Well, I do want to say the defense is 17th in defensive rating, which is typically a metric people like. That's mid-tier.
17th.
Yeah, in defensive rating.
I'm on NBA.com right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now they're number 10 on my side.
Isn't that a defensive rating?
Yes.
Did you make sure you hit the column?
Right. Because Basketball Reference got them at it's like 17 on Basketball Reference. Like they're behind the Wizards on Basketball Reference.
All right then. I mean, I'm looking at the defensive rating from NBA.com. I'm seeing him in the top 10. But you know what? They're 17th on Basketball Reference.
So let's find the median. We'll say they're 15th, so that'll be fine. They're like in the middle, so that's not bad. They're mid-level defense, which is probably better than they've been before. I always felt like Luka got a bad rep on defense. I feel like he's fine.
He's not terrible.
He's just not. Yeah, exactly. And the problem is
he's not a net negative.
Right. The issue has been just he gets tired because he has a guard. You're sending great players at him. Like the problem has been the playoffs, right? That's when people see him in the playoffs. Like, okay, they're sending Kawhi and Paul George just repeatedly. Then you have to run the whole offense. There's only so much you can do. But as someone who knows who doesn't believe in Jason Kidd at all, hey, but you know what? Best case scenario, right? They fired Jason Kidd. The next coach comes in 5 years later, you win a championship. That's what happened with the Bucks, right?
I mean, my inside sources are saying that if Jason Kidd doesn't work out, they got Derek Fisher on deck. So,
oh, there we go. That's right. That'll work. I do want to say, I feel like the Mavericks.
Whose wife is he going to fuck this time?
What you said, Titus? You feel like Mavericks what?
I feel like the Mavericks organization escapes a lot of criticism for not being that good. Like, they just had a ridiculously chaotic offseason. People act like it didn't happen because they got logo Luka, who can only shoot from the logo and nowhere else on the court. It's the weirdest thing ever. But I don't feel like they built a good roster there. I just don't. I don't feel like they built a good team around Luka. Like the KP thing was a stretch, the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade, that worked out pretty well. They got THJ, of course. But like overall, that team is just not it. I don't like it. I look at it and I just don't like what I look at. Like Jalen Brunson's cool, but like I said, Jalen Brunson can't be your second best player. I don't know. I don't fully trust him as an organization. I just don't.
The only benefit they have is that the West this year, in my opinion, has the most parity.
Mid. The West is very mid this year.
Yeah, the East is. I personally been feeling like the East has been better than the West for a few years, but now it's a year where everybody's finally like the East is better than the West.
The problem with the East being better than the West was Golden State was at the top, and it would just look. It was unfair.
Even the last 2 years when Golden State wasn't really in the mix, like I feel like those years the East was legit better. But I mean, now it's undisputable in my opinion. And and there's no West team as a whole that I look at and I'm like, I'm scared of them. Like Milwaukee has moments where I'm like, yo, I'm still scared of Giannis. Miami's looking a little spooky right now. All the teams that are looking kind of scarier from the East, really.
And keep in mind with the Bucks haven't been healthy. Like this, they've missed Holiday and now Middleton's going into protocol. Like what we're seeing from the Bucks is still a Bucks team that's not healthy.
Yeah, the Bucks team right now is a team that like they might not have a high season in the playoffs, and that's the most terrifying thought for everybody else, right? Like imagine you're looking at a number 4 seed Bucks just because they had injuries. Everybody's coming to the playoffs healthy. Like the 4th seed. You know what I'm saying? You Thibodeau up there with your Knicks. It's like, oh yeah, you got the Bucks first round. You're going home. Let's say that, man. You mentioned France. You mentioned the Heat, y'all. The Heat have a plus 16 point differential, bro. It's almost 17 points.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the Heat is the beginning when like all the Tyler Hero quotes came out, like you're just as good as Luka and Trey. And I low-key feel like this came from Jimmy. Like Jimmy's sitting down talking to him one day, like, yo, you're just as good as Luka and Trey. And Tyler fully believes it. And so far it's performing like it. I don't know how sustainable it is.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that irrational confidence sometimes.
The one thing Tyler hadn't let is irrational confidence. But I feel like he's benefited also from like not having to facilitate, not having to worry about other things other than score, right? Like you got 2 leaders, you got Jimmy and you got Kyle Lowry there. You just got to go get buckets, bro. That is your job, is to get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Trey and Luka's job is to conduct an entire symphony. And Tyler's just like the violinist. Just go hit this violin solo one time. And he do it. He hit it. He did very well. You know what I'm saying? It's a good year. He's doing his thing this year. Are you able to qualify for 6 man of the year if you play 30 minutes a game?
I mean, I think as long as you're not like it's not listed as a start, I think you're good.
Yeah,
bruh. He already played like 30. He's like fourth in minutes on the team. He's not six man. I'm not standing for this. He ain't getting a 6-man trophy in my own. Not on my watch.
He's
Sick of it. I snake the 6-man of the year awards.
When's the who's the last white man that won 6-man of the year?
Has there been one?
No, for real. Who's the last white person that won 6-man of the year?
Wow, I can't think of it right now.
I really don't know.
Hold on, we got to go through 6-man of the year history.
I know. Somebody talk about the Heat while we look this up. John Havlicek won 6-man of the year. How about that?
Mike Miller was the last white person that won 6-man of the year.
Oh yeah, Mike Miller.
Oh, I would have guessed Mike Havlicek.
Oh my God.
What was Mike Miller, like 2003 or something?
2005, man. Wow.
Oh my Lord.
Damn.
So there's like a Mike Miller post up in like Tyler Hero's like locker room. Like that's what's going on.
Mike
It's gotta be.
Mike Miller and Tyler Hero probably about like the same level skill wise, so like that makes sense.
You're right.
But the Heat, man, people always talk about the offense, and it's like I think people forget that like those guys can score. Like Jimmy Butler is perennially like, is Jimmy Butler a top 10? Is Jimmy Butler a top 15 player in the league? And there's always this conversation. But Jimmy Butler quietly every season gets better. And he figures it out on a different level. He just has a really high basketball IQ. And he's going to go get his buckets when he needs to. But Kyle Lowry is the same way. Kyle Lowry isn't scoring a bunch so far. His numbers haven't been the best. That's good. Like that probably changes. But at the same time, you have these shooters in Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. You have Markieff.
Duncan hasn't been good yet, by the way, which is the scariest
Duncan hasn't been. Yeah,
that's the
like you have Markieff Morris, who isn't as good as Marcus, but like he's still a good shooter. He's still someone I like a lot. I still like Dwayne Dedmon more than a lot of people do, and like finding someone like Max Strus, like just like off the fucking street pretty much, like, and just like throwing him into that rotation, he's getting significant minutes, and who knows what this team looks like if they had Oladipo? Like, I don't even know what Oladipo's like role on this team would look like right now if he was healthy. But
he doesn't know either.
This team can score. They can score. They can score with you. They can up the pace. This team is in shape. They run, and obviously the defense is going to be the big calling card. This is like Eric Spoelstra's dream scenario to have like Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo and PJ Tucker all on the same team. Like this is like Eric Spoelstra's playhouse. But at the same time, these guys are reliable scorers too, especially if Tyler Hero can keep it up, and then maybe eventually we get a hot run from Duncan Robinson. This is a very, very, very dangerous team. And like I said, I always thought it was weird. People talked about the Celtics, saying that the Celtics were going to come back, and like who knows what Philly's ceiling is right now. Like, who knows? Like Joel has had injury issues already. Tobias is in protocol, and like your best player is Seth Curry. So like who knows what like the Sixers ceiling is? But I do know one thing: Miami is them versus the Bucks is going to be some real nasty, grimy basketball.
I already hate that series. Like I already hate that series and how aggressive and annoying it's going to be.
I want it. I want that series.
I'm already sick of it. I already feel like I've heard the word gritty said 37 times and I hate it. That's what's going to be said. These gritty teams. That series is going to be lit though. I like the fact that our best player in the game right now, Giannis, has an intense rival. I like that. I like when teams have rivalry, when players have rivalries with whole teams. And this Giannis and the Heat feels like a thing, and I like that. I do enjoy that.
They didn't do it last year, and like the team last year was out of whack with like all these different new pieces that they tried to fit in. But like right now, they can look like those 2020 Giannis stoppers again.
They absolutely can. But Giannis, let's talk about Giannis. He's quietly still expanding his game, and I'm scared for bruh. Giannis is like shooting better. Yeah. It's still not great, but it's better. And he's not afraid of doing it.
He's only 20. He's only 26.
He's also like having his best year in terms of like assist totals, which is I don't know what you about to do with this. I really don't.
The Bucks aren't healthy. Like this is what
that's the problem.
Bucks,
they're not healthy, and he's still doing.
Like we can talk about the Miami all we want to. We can talk about the Bulls all we want to, but Drew Holiday has missed games so far this season, and Chris Middleton is in protocol. The Bucks are not healthy. When they get everyone back, Giannis is the type of dude where like he sees and hears everything.
Right.
Like
right.
You don't think that like when they're back and then they see Miami or whoever circle on the schedule, that Giannis don't got something special for them? Giannis got something special when he runs into them again.
He wants it. Oh, something we missed on Miami. Bam being aggressive is finally happening, which that's a game changer. It's definitely a game changer because you got that anchor behind PJ. This is PJ, Jimmy, Lowry trio of defenders. Have fun. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
I want to see, like, part of me wants to see Brooklyn versus Miami, like, just to see.
I want that smoke.
KD just gonna be looking like, yo, like, I really got to do this shit by myself right now. I hope Harden gets it. I hope Harden gets it together. I really hope he gets it together. Maybe even Kyrie gets vaccinated and like whatever. But
yeah, man. Like
I want to see Kevin Durant looking across.
We said it earlier where we don't feel like they need all three, but now looking at the Heat, I'm like, yo, the Nets might need all three. You might need all three to beat them. That's insane. Like I would have never guessed you needed Kyrie, Kevin, and James Harden to be the team. Like, it's need two. Any combination will do. But no, they might need all three of them. Maybe. And it's still gonna be an annoying series. Like it might be the series that you win, but you lose because you're gonna lose the Nets because you're too tired. Because they put you through a lot.
So have you guys watched any of the Jazz?
I gave up on the Jazz when they didn't do anything in the off season and decided that the team that could be Terrence Mann.
They did some off-season moves.
I consciously avoid you.
Not major ones. Yeah, I needed them to do so. I needed them to shake the whole. I needed a shake up for that roster from last year. Like they just ran it back too much.
The Nuggets and the Jazz are playing on primetime TV, and I chose to go to bed early. And that was
all right. Listen,
I chose peace.
Let me ask a question, right? So, is it possible that just last year that the Clippers were a bad matchup for the Jazz? Like, say if the Jazz had run into
the Mavericks instead, like they should have. Okay.
Like say the Jazz run into the Mavericks. I think they smoked the Mavericks.
They do, but do we think they beat the Suns?
I think that they have I think that the Sun series would like maybe lean towards the Jazz. Honestly, I think the Clippers were just a bad matchup for them. But like if we're comparing it, we're comparing Mike Conley versus Chris Paul,
you have a point.
And comparing all that, I really do think that it was a matchup thing. So like I look at this
for sure,
and I look at the Jazz, and they're doing the same thing they were doing last year, shooting like crazy, playing great defense. We'll see how the playoffs shake out. But I look at this and I'm like, all right, like if we want to sit there and sleep on the Jazz again, we can do that. But Hassan Whiteside in the second unit is giving good minutes. Eric Pascal, I don't think he's played a ton yet, but he's someone that I always liked on the Warriors.
He's looked pretty good in the little bit I've seen. He looked pretty good.
I think that he can be a good contributor. Like they didn't make major moves, but there's moves that I enjoy that the Jazz did. And like, yes, Rudy got sort of exposed last year
again.
I always think it's disgusting that a nigga that has no offensive value got $200 million. Like, yes, that's insane to me. But at the same time, that shouldn't be Rudy's job to go out there and have to guard these niggas at the 3-point line. That shouldn't be Rudy's job. All I'm saying is I'm looking at the Jazz and they're having the same exact numbers that they were having last year. And if they don't run into a Clippers small ball lineup again, if they happen to run into like the Mavericks or this not as good Lakers team, I think that the Jazz do have an honest shot.
I feel like I want to trust them. But I've seen Rudy get the Jazz sent home the same way for like 3 years in a row. And I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't. I just can't do it. And it still feels like they're Donovan Mitchell having a bad game away from being embarrassed. Right? Like Donovan was a little hobbled last year. They had no offensive creation. They're shooting. They shoot a lot and they shoot pretty well. But when it's off, they're done. Right? Like they rely on it heavily. When it's off, they have no shot. I want to believe you. I do. You know, I love Donovan Mitchell. Unlike you and me love Donovan Mitchell, like another person on this podcast. Love slandering that man. France. But yeah, we love Donovan Mitchell. So I want to see it. I just can't trust it yet. I can't do it to myself again. I refuse.
France, you got any thoughts on that?
I also refuse.
The Clippers were a bad matchup, guys. Come on.
But there's always a bad matchup when you have Rudy.
Okay,
it's always a bad matchup.
I will give you they had a bad matchup if they didn't blow a lead that game. Like they blew a lead. They had a 3-2 lead. Like I know. They 2-1, whatever. 2-1. Yeah, no. I mean, not only did they blow a lead in the series, but they blew a lead in that game.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
So it's like the bad matchups to me is like there's nothing you can do to win the series. Like it's like a 4-1, or it's like you don't look competitive in any of the games. When you're blowing games and blowing leads, I can't call it a bad matchup. I call you got outplayed.
I ain't gonna lie, fam. I'm tired. I'm so tired of seeing my man Donovan have these incredible playoff performances, putting up like 40 points a game, just to watch them struggle and lose by 5 at the end. Like, what more do you need to do? My man's just tired. He gave you the boost.
And let's not forget, like Donovan was hurt, like had the twisted ankle, all that kind of stuff. Like,
right.
You know, I'm just saying, like, no one's gonna talk about the Jazz, and like, because like Jazz fans get mad when you don't talk about the Jazz. I'm just saying, like,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I understand. Jazz fans do be mad sensitive. They be so upset. I think that covers everything. So do we believe? This is what I did want to ask. Do y'all believe in the Jordan Poole Golden State Warriors? We did kind of hit on them, but do we fully believe? Are we invested in Jordan Poole Warriors?
I believe.
I do. I believe.
Okay. Somebody got to win the West, right?
Do you believe?
I want to. I really. Who
do you believe in other than Miami?
Other than Miami, I believe in the Bucks, like long term, because I just believe in Giannis that much. I want to believe that James Harden's going to get it back, and then that's going to be a problem. I do want to believe that, and I'm leaning towards it. I believe that 76ers are our first round exit.
I believe in the Hawks.
Yeah, Trey's going to stop playing at some point, right? He's going to get better at some point. But John Collins is doing this thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like we're talking about a healthy like Hawks team, and people forget that they didn't have Reddish or Hunter like during that playoff run last year, and Hunter is getting better, and so is Reddish. And even if Trey's like scoring numbers might take a little bit of a dip, if those guys are coming into their own, and they have like. And yeah, that's a deep roster with like versatile wing defenders and guys who can shoot threes and like drive and everything.
And they're running Collins at the 5.
Yeah, even if Trey takes a step back, that's a very, very interesting team.
You know, the scariest thing for the Hawks for me last year wasn't necessarily. I mean, I know they got there. Last year was weird, but they got there and they looked like I know they played like the most mentally broken team in the history of basketball in the Philadelphia 76ers. But like, the thing that scared me in the playoffs was there was never a point that you thought would come where Trae Young actually got exposed on defense. They hit him so well. Like, he got hidden so well on the defensive end of the court. And that's the really scary factor, because they have guys like, if Reddish is defending, Hunter's obviously going to be a defender, right? You run a lineup out with Trae, Reddish, Hunter, Collins, Capella. You can hide. He's good. You can hide Trae somewhere.
The crazier part is they're hiding him during games he's not shooting well neither. and they can still be like, they can still survive.
He's not been made to pay. Right, he has not been made to pay for his size, and probably because I don't even think Trae Young being bad at defense is like necessarily he doesn't want to be good. He's just small, and small dudes can't necessarily be good at defense. In the modern game, it's just not a thing that you're gonna be able to do because guys have too many tricks nowadays for you to pull that off. But he's not been exposed at all on the end of the court. That was the weirdest thing in the playoffs to me because I just knew at some point it was gonna happen and it just didn't happen.
Hey, I got some odds updates. We're talking about teams we believe in. If you believe in the Milwaukee Bucks, they're currently plus 750 to win the entire title. $100 gets you $750. That's a really good payout. Golden State is plus 900. And Miami Heat is plus 1,400. We might gotta come together. We might gotta come together and drop some money, guys.
We gotta put a pool together for that Heat.
We gotta put at least 50.
How was that still Miami's odds?
Right.
Miami is but the Nets are plus 250 and the Lakers are plus 550. I'm telling you, the people want the Lakers and Nets bad.
Yeah,
they want them.
We got to get off this. When we get off air, we definitely got to put a pool together because that's
while mainstream media is convincing the odd makers to make the Nets and the Lakers the favorites. Let's go to the Bucks and Warriors in Miami. Let's sprinkle some money there.
I'm with it.
We come back and we be good after the finals.
Right. Right. I promise.
I got something for you guys. Okay, so before we get off here, who is going to be your surprise All-Star this year? And I'll give you 3 names. And if either one of them, if any of them aren't who you pick, you want to pick someone else, you can pick someone else. But who is more likely to be an All-Star between John Collins, Miles Bridges, and Jordan Poole?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going with Bridges.
Poole's not making it because he's in the West.
Yeah.
And being a guard in the West is, you're not getting there. Who are the other 2 you said? Miles Bridges?
John Collins.
I might gotta go with Bridges, man. Bridges is cold, bruh.
I'm telling you, I really think
Collins going as a forward, right?
Yeah. He might have the positional advantage, but
yeah.
As far as the better player, Bridges right now is cold, bro.
Bridges is nasty. I think Bridges might have enough highlights where he gets it, bro.
The best thing he did was
have enough highlights where he's gonna get it.
The best thing he did was not take that extension because now it's like, hey, I'm worth way more now, and that's the definition of gambling on yourself.
That's a fact,
bro. He does everything he'll do a random bully ball post up, a transition 3, It's what's going on here?
Did he become the better Bridges quickly all of a sudden? Because Mikal was nice.
Mikal's good for what his role is. He could get better, but Mikal is perfect for his role. Right. I don't know if Mikal could be doing what Miles is doing right now.
Yeah, bro. Miles is on some other stuff right now. Miles is really wilding right now, bro.
I'm telling you, I watched him he'll sit there and do a bully ball, mouse in the house, post up. They do a screen. You get a guard gets switched on him. You just back him down and bully him. Next thing I know, dude just pull up and there's nothing but net.
It's a problem, bro. It's a real problem. And I hope it's not just, contract year vibes. I hope it's legitimately where still a level they stays and gets that. Because I want the Hornets to be good because we deserve a good Hornets team because they're broadcasting. Hot take, y'all. You ready for this? I got the Minnesota Timberwolves back in the playoffs this year.
Now you want to jump on Timberwolves, man. Oh my God, this nigga.
I'm an Anthony Edwards guy. What you mean? I'm an Anthony Edwards dude. I've been Anthony Edwards dude. I'm not a cat guy. That's the difference. I just laid off of him because he's been through a lot. But I'm not a cat guy. But I'm an Anthony Edwards guy.
I've seen some Timberwolves games, and Edwards and his creativity with his shots, his step back that's just crazy.
Yeah, my man's getting the bag. He's getting the tool bag. I want to say my main concern with Timberwolves is the fact that the 20-year-old seems to be the leader of that team, and I don't know what that says about D'Angelo Russell and Cat, but it says a lot to me about them personally.
I mean, Cat
that the 20-year-old is the leader.
Cat has tried harder on defense in the last year or so. So that's been encouraging to see. But Anthony Edwards is absolutely the heart of that team. Oh,
for sure.
I got one more name to throw at you. 2022 All-Star Seth Curry. What you think?
All right, guys, and you know what?
Bro. Yo, come on, look, yo, look.
Not doing this. We not doing Seth Curry for All-Star.
He's the second best player on a maybe top 4 seed.
Hey, look, I just picked up Seth Curry on my fantasy league, so I have no Seth Curry slander to spread. I'm only rooting for him.
Yo,
they are a 10-game and B stretch away from the lottery.
Come on, you can't Seth Curry, no.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this Seth Curry
come on, bro.
I'm not.
Come on, bro.
I'm not doing. No.
You mad that Seth Curry performing in Philly better than Ben Simmons ever did? That's what mad.
Watch your mouth. First of all,
that's what you mad about, bro.
They were the 1 seed with Ben Simmons last year. They ain't even a 1 seed right now. Be respectful.
That's crazy, bro.
Be respectful. Be respectful. They did. I ain't gonna lie. Chauncey Billups looked crazy losing to Tobias Harris and Joel Embiidless team. 76 team. That's a bad look, Chauncey and Dame. How you lose to that on purpose?
Seth Curry won the head-to-head with Dame. It's like I don't know what to tell you, bro.
It's crazy because I know so many organizations, the Blazers, Mavericks, they gotta be looking at Seth Curry like, damn, we can still use you around here. But but then y'all wanted to keep him. So like
they let Seth Curry go.
I was so mad.
I understand because Portland, at some point you gotta stop having small guards in Portland. At some point.
The Dallas, I was so mad. I was so mad when Dallas let him go. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
This still trusting Josh Richardson thing. I don't know why he's Josh Richardson is like the Miami Heat culture poster boy. Like Heat culture. Look what we did for him.
Isn't Josh Richardson he's on the Celtics? He's a Celtic now. But like Josh
I'm saying he was on
the Mavericks. He was fucking awful on the Mavs.
It explains the Celtics season. You gotta get rid of Richardson, man.
Nah, for real. Richardson. Look, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Celtics, the Mavericks traded him for Seth Curry, or traded Seth Curry for him, right? Isn't that what happened?
Right.
Yeah. I don't get that. I will never understand why Dallas did that. Never.
And Josh was like, I could see if Josh was good that year in Philly, but he wasn't. He was bad. He was very not good.
Yeah, everybody been trying to chase that one Miami year, and it's like, all right, Philly couldn't get it, Dallas couldn't get it, Boston couldn't get it, and somebody else gonna be like, all right, he might got one more destination as a try.
We don't get it. We don't talk enough about how like Miami had a nasty roster that made the playoffs, and they made they gave some nasty contracts out. Remember the Tyler Johnson contract?
Oh,
remember that?
God damn.
The Dion Waiters.
Is Tyler Johnson still on the Nets?
I don't know where he's at.
Dion Waiters in his gummies, man.
Yo, Dion Waiters in the gummies. They gave us Hassan Whiteside. The 2 years of Hassan Whiteside.
He has some promise though. I give him a pass. He has some promise.
Is it promise if you've been around for like 7 years, but you finally got good for one? Is that still considered promise?
What's the window? What's the window? Like I feel like a solid 4 years. Like if they're 18 coming into the league, right? 7 years into their career, they're only 24, 25. Like
yeah.
They can still have another solid window of their prime, like from 25 to like 29 and be good players. That's another solid 3-4 years.
I love Hassan Whiteside because he never actually learned how to play defense. He was just like, I can block shots. That's all that really matters. Tyler Johnson's only 29 years old. That is incredible.
Is he still on the team?
It says he last played for the Brooklyn Nets, so I'm assuming he's not there yet. I'm waiting for the Wikipedia page to open up. It's being mad slow.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still in the Nets.
Tyler Johnson and Rudy Gobert are the same age, y'all. I just want y'all to really let that sink in.
Sheesh.
I guess he's not playing this year because they did not have him on the team.
Yeah, the Nets don't have him on the roster no more. So
yeah.
Well,
my boy in Shanghai, damn.
It'd be like that, man.
At least Dennis Schroeder avoided the Shanghai because I definitely thought he said it over there. I was like, dang, Dennis, man, you got to go do Reggie Jackson for a year, bro. That's crazy.
Reggie Jackson really fucked up his bag. Like,
didn't he, though?
Dennis Schroeder ain't never getting that money. Nah,
Dennis is out of here. Dennis lost all that bread. Every piece of it. Yeah, man. So Timberwolves in the playoffs, man. You know what I'm saying? They come down to the Hawks in January. I'm definitely going to see that. I think the Hawks play the Bulls and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards homecoming. That's all I'm here for. Is Anthony Edwards homecoming in Atlanta. I'm getting my. Am I trifling if I wear Anthony Edwards jersey to a Hawks game?
Nah,
Georgian, it'll be fine.
No, that's the boy. That's the boy there. You be cool with that.
I would wear a Ben Simmons jersey too, but we ain't gotta talk about that.
You need to burn that bitch.
I can't. I still got my Carson Wentz jersey in the closet. I'm not a jersey burner. I don't respect jersey burning culture, so I just let these jerseys sit and collect dust.
No, yeah, that was an awful purchase.
Don't hate. I was trying to rep for my man. That's my man's. Y'all was hating. I was trying to rep for my man's. You know what I'm saying?
No, I fuck with Ben Simmons. I was the one saying that, like, when Embiid was. I was the one that was saying when Embiid was injured that Ben Simmons was looking like Giannis light. Like, I still
we did have those conversations.
But yeah, that's you're gonna have to give up on that. I gotta give up on that dream right now.
My man passed up a dunk.
Trae Young.
Oh my God, he passed up a
Trae
dunk.
Young was there. All he had to do was just reach his arm up and dunk over Trae Young.
His explanation made me madder, bro. He was like, "Nah, I seen Gallinari come and help." So I'm like, hey, "Gallinari, dunk? What you about to do? Dunk the ball? What you mean, Gallinari? What you mean, bro? Help me, bro." Yo, how sick of Rich Paul? How sick of Ben Simmons is Rich Paul, bro? He's got to be over this, right? Because I don't think Ben is listed. Because there are people who think Rich Paul is doing this. Like, Rich Paul's been a good agent, unless you ask Nerlens Noel. He's been a pretty good agent. You know, I don't think he would advise these terrible tactics Ben Simmons is taking.
Yeah, I don't think Rich Paul's telling the nigga to go to practice and, like, yo, just like, don't move.
All right, real quick. I got Ben Simmons on my fantasy trying to, like, I was investing, like, I could hold out a couple of weeks. Like, yeah, I think he's coming back, so I can figure out if I could drop him, leave him on the waivers, and get somebody else.
Know what to tell you. I don't even know.
Did you see the report
because he said mental health. So, like, I don't even know when he's coming back now.
But did you see that, like, they were trying to get him professional help and help him get professional help? He's like, nah, I'm good. I don't need help.
All right, we're what? We're 9 games into the season so far. About 8 to 9 games. If by game 15 he ain't playing, he off my roster. He's out of here.
There was a Reddit post I saw on RNB. I didn't read the full thing, but someone suggested that the Philly is leaking all this stuff about what they're trying to do because they can get litigation to get their money back that they paying them. I was like, you know what?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Sounds pretty right to me. There's also a conspiracy theory that Daryl Morey hates Rich Paul, which is why he's not trading Ben, which also sounds right, actually.
Yeah, Daryl Morey went.
The only person that would have traded for Ben Simmons is Daryl Morey. Too bad he's in the organization. You know what I'm saying?
Daryl Morey went on a Philly radio station and was like, yo, I'm not trading this nigga. We can do this for another 4 years if you want to.
Bro, Daryl has never understood the people part of basketball, and that's been his biggest downfall. God. He's just like, I got bodies and they play basketball, so everything should work out okay. Like, there was literally an episode of what's that show? Open Court. A few years ago, right? Because I'm hearing about Daryl Morey. They had the GMs up there. I don't know if y'all watched. They had the GMs up there. Like Bob Myers was up there. I think somebody from Toronto was up there. A few guys were up there, right? And Daryl Morey was up there, right? And at some point, Daryl was like, "Yeah, I just need players." They're talking about chemistry or whatever. And they're laughing. Bob, I was like, yeah, you know, chemistry matters at some point. He's like, I think it's more numbers. Like, he literally says that, like, there in front of everybody. I'm like, okay, he really believes this. Like, he doesn't care about people. He doesn't get the people aspect of this. He just thinks it's a computer. It's a human computer. He doesn't understand the actual, like, chemistry aspects of what needs to take place, which is why he'll never be fully successful. But yeah, shout out Daryl Morey though. Shout out to Ben Simmons. Yeah. One day he'll play basketball again. I don't know when, but one day.
Do you think he plays a game in Philly this year?
No.
In the city of Philadelphia? No.
Okay. Does he play? Does he
play a game in Philly jersey? I think he's going to be on the court in the Philly jersey.
Does he play? How many games does he play in a Philadelphia Sixers uniform this season?
I think he's going to play like 3. Then there's going to be like, you know what? Just shut it down and just send him home or something. Because I just don't see it going well.
All I can think of is that next season where Derrick Rose just like said I can't do this and like dipped.
Oh, I forgot that did happen. Yeah.
Dog.
Either no call, no show.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that doesn't. I'm not sure that doesn't happen this year with Ben Simmons. I don't know if Ben playing.
At this point, nothing would surprise me, but it feels like I can't see him not playing the whole season. Like, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, for me, like, he's too young to waste an entire year.
Right.
Like, and at this point, the only way you're going to change anything about your narrative is by playing basketball. Literally, whether it's for Philly for a few games and then get traded, whether it's finally get traded, you got a whole new fresh start. Nothing changes without you having some activity on the court, which is why I've been holding out. But I don't know. And like, I'm getting nervous.
It also doesn't feel like Daryl's trying to get this super trade because he said he wouldn't trade. He didn't want to trade him for role players, but you're not Dame. You're not getting. There's no others that are actually really trying to get traded right now. Like, what level player are you gonna get?
I said from the jump that nigga should have took Malcolm Brogdon.
And he ain't even all that. That's your man's. But we ain't got to get into that.
No, I'm not even saying Malcolm Brogdon's all that. But if you're looking for someone it's like that can shoot and handle the ball and like get whatever else back. I'm like,
that would have been the best you got. I'm just glad. I'm glad they didn't do that because I couldn't follow Ben Simmons to Indiana. I personally couldn't do it. I hate that franchise. I don't know if y'all know this.
Why you hate the Pacers?
Because they support a fictional high school movie and act like that's a real thing. Remember that? The Hickory Farm jerseys.
Oh my god!
For a fictional movie. I hate that. I hate that. I've hated them ever since that happened. Honestly, I've just been so disgusted.
I don't know why you're saying that.
It's like the Rocky statue of Philadelphia. I hate that too.
I'm about to say, like, you a Philly fan. Like, come on, bro.
I'm a Ben Simmons supporter and a Eagles fan. The Rocky statue, I don't like that either. I hate the Rocky statue too. I have no desire to see that. But yeah, that'd be my feelings. Don't make fictional movies your landmark, the landmark of your city. That's just my message to the world. To America. But yeah, now I'm depressed thinking about Ben Simmons. Thanks guys.
Last thing, there was an update in the New York Post today that the new mayor of New York may revisit the vaccine mandate to let Kyrie Irving play for the Nets. So
if you're the Nets, do you even want?
Can we track the campaign money and see if he got funded by the Nets owner?
Why don't Kyrie Irving just pull at Aaron Rodgers? Like, Aaron Rodgers got away with it, right? Like, Kyrie Irving can't get away with it.
The NBA is as stupid as the NFL. That's the difference. and can we be real?
Yeah.
The NBA can't get away with that because, they got black people.
Facts.
And, you know how that goes. You let these people do whatever they want. You know how that would go real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I love the NFL is going to act like they didn't know about Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be hilarious.
No, he really petitioned like, yo, y'all sure I can't do this?
Right. That's gonna be I can't wait to NFL pretend like they didn't know.
I love the interviews where like they asked him in the before the season started.
Bruh.
Were you vaccinated? Yeah,
I'm immunized.
I'm about to start saying that now. I'm vaccinated. I'm going to start saying that.
Bro was out here taking flaxseed oil and I'm like, I'm good.
His girl's even crazier.
Bro, I saw that today. I saw that quote today. France, do you see the quote about that?
What his
girl had made apparently earlier in the year? Did you see that?
Nah,
his girl be she thinks people.
I got the whole quote. You ready for this?
She be eating clay and making her own toothpaste and making her own medicines and they don't be going to doctors. She be like on some real like Dr. CB shit.
What is happening?
Yeah. You ready? All right, here we go. All right, here's the tweet. All right. This is a quote from the tweet, from an article. She said, this is Shaylin Wood. She said, I think everything about my lifestyle is fairly alternative. I gather my own spring water from mountains every month. I go to a farm to get my food. And going to a farm to get food, that's cool, right? But then, here we go. I make everything from my own toothpaste to my own body lotions and face oils. I could go on for hours. I make my own medicines. I don't get those from doctors. I make my own cheese and forage wild foods and identify wild plants. It's an entire lifestyle. It's appealing to my soul. It was in our face the whole time.
It was in our face the whole time.
This is what's worse, though. There was a tweet from 2020 from Jenna Lane, right? ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it says. This is from October of 2020. So apparently Aaron Rodgers is a chemtrail conspiracy guy. On Sunday NFL Countdown, Wallace Seneca Rodgers asked him, "What do you think all that stuff is flying behind the jet stream? Do you think it has anything to do with why everybody's getting cancer?" So Aaron been about this life. We just didn't see it.
Well,
this is who he is, apparently. Immunized. He's immunized.
Immunized is great.
I mean, he is now. You know, he got plenty of antibodies now.
All right, I think that's far enough here. I think we're good.
Should I cut that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing.
Done. I'm done.
Yep, we're done. We're out.
Jesus
I'll stop
Christ.
the recording.